Hey there guys, right then, so got a cool little open hi-hat thing here. I've designed this groove, number one because it sounds cool, and number two because it targets a couple of issues that a lot of drummers get into. So by sitting down and working on this groove, if you're able to do it, great. There's one little weak spot I see a lot, and you've covered it, and it's not causing you a problem. If you try playing this and it's kicking your butt and there's a couple of things that are causing an issue, you're like most people where there's just this little thing that people struggle with. So, and then you conquer it and it's no longer a weakness, okay? And if you conquer every single one of your weaknesses, then you'll have no weaknesses. So try and do like one thing a day, which makes you a little bit better, and you're going to be better. Anyway, so we're going to start with this, kicking a bass drum, bass drum and a hi-hat together, and a closed hi-hat, and then we're going to have an open hi-hat with a bass drum. So, and the whole way through this groove, you've got closed hi-hat, open hi-hat, closed hi-hat, open hi-hat, closed, open. So the right hand's just ticking away. You're just lifting your foot up every other note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's the placement of these other notes against it that kick people's butts. So bass drum and closed, bass drum and open, and then we're going to have snare drum and closed hi-hat. So up to there, bass, bass, snare. And getting that open hi-hat nice and crisp. Then we're going to have this. So from beat 2, where you had the snare there, hi-hat and snare, you've then got a bass drum on its own and a bass drum and an open hi-hat. That is what causes people an issue. That kind of kick on its own going into an open hi-hat. Because you've got one foot going down and one foot coming up, and people fall off their stools. It's happened in this room. I've done it. Fallen off the stool. That was during a gig. Okay, it's way better to fall off a stool in a drum lesson than it is to fall off during a gig. So, very embarrassing. I was a lot younger, so I'm slightly less grey. Anyway, but up to there again. So snare drum and hi-hat, then a kick, and the kick in the open hi-hat. So without the hi-hat, snare kick, kick, but then you've got the closed hi-hat, open hi-hat. One thing people struggle with as well is that bass drum on its own, the one that's not with the hi-hat. So snare and hat, kick on its own, then kick and open hi-hat. So literally those three notes can cause so many issues. So really try and work on that. And then moving into the next beat, you've got pretty much the same thing again, but without the snare drum. So it's hat on its own, closed, bass drum on its own, then bass drum and open hi-hat. So hat, bass, and open. Now if that's causing an issue, thing to do is take away the open hi-hat and just play kick, hi-hat, kick, and then both together. Hat, kick together, keeping the hi-hat closed. And then that sorts out one of the main bass drum problems a lot of people get into. So playing a groove, those kind of grooves, the big issue with that is getting that double kick quickly, first of all, but then also doing it going onto a beat, onto a hi-hat. So by working on that hi-hat, bass drum, bass and hi-hat together, that will sort a lot of problems out. If you want to get more into that, check out my bass drum bootcamp. Anyway, and then beat 4 is the same as beat 2, snare and hat, kick, then a kick and an open hi-hat. So putting it all together, kick, kick, snare, kick, 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 snare, kick, kick, hat, kick, kick, snare, kick, kick. If you play all without the open hi-hat, that can be tricky on its own. Now if I do the hands, so no bass drums, but just the hands with the open hi-hat, and that can be tricky on its own. Closed, open, so the snare drums are with a closed hi-hat. Put it together, if you've got it, conquered it, another weakness crushed. So there you have it. So, and then once you're comfortable with that, try and do some fills with it. So keep the groove going and get comfortable. So get to the point where you can't just do it, but you can do it without thinking. Be able to play some fills, move around, as I'm going to do now. There you go. So So have some fun with that one. Check out the channel membership stuff if you want to get into a little bit more of this. In this one lesson, I'm teaching a lot of different concepts. The funny bass drum thing, the open hi-hats. The bass drum bootcamp will help you with the bass drum stuff. The open hi-hat grooves course, that'll help you with the open hi-hat stuff. And then it all kind of comes together as you go into the more advanced courses. So that's all available for less than $10 a month, and gives you access to all of the courses as well as video response lessons, tracks, and a load of other stuff. So check it out if you're interested. Until then, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you soon.